Yo, 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 what's going on? Peace and blessings to my YouTube family. It's your man AC Star. I want to welcome to the AC Star morning show, but we're doing the afternoon edition. Sorry about the background noise. My bad, people. That seems to happen. I don't know what's up with that. But yo, how y'all doing today, man? It's January 7th, 2021. 7 days removed from 2020. 1 day removed from what we will call the Trump coup of 2021. What we learned is that President Trump is who we think he is. He is definitely who we think he is. Definitely, 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 definitely. Yo, that's crazy yesterday. That was crazy. The fact that those people thought that storming the U.S. Capitol was somehow legal, somehow normal, somehow their right. They thought it was their inalienable right to storm the U.S. Capitol and to what they say peacefully protest. What were they protesting? That they man lost. That's what they were protesting. That Donald Trump was not victorious. So after he got on the stage for an hour, because best believe he is totally responsible for what happened yesterday. We can't look at it no other way, people. Donald J. Trump, the 45th president of the United States of America, is responsible for that coup. Him, his sons, they're responsible. Peace to Maurice, though. Peace, Mo. Excuse me. They're responsible. And Trump is responsible because he stood on that stage for an hour and he incited those people and he riled them up and he told them, I have been done wrong. They stolen this election from me. And we can't take this lying down. He spent the hour up there trying to defend the defenseless, saying that what he did was correct, and it wasn't. It wasn't correct at all. It was literally inciting a coup. He created a microwave coup. Not to say that it didn't build up, not to say that anticipation or the incitement of violence wasn't percolating with all his rallies that he's been, gallivanting across the country having every year. We knew that was the beginning. We knew that's where he was planting his seeds of discomfort, his seeds of discontent. He used those rallies when he started talking about, oh, it's going to be rigged. So he set the ground, the fertile ground for what we seen yesterday. And what did he do? He got on stage and he watered those seeds. He watered those young millions out there and he poured nonsense on them and he sprinkled them with bullshit and he told them, now go free and fight for me while I jump in my caravan and go back to the safety of the White House. Go tell those congressmen and those senators that Donald J. Trump was cheated and you guys won't stand for it. And that's what they did, ladies and gentlemen. They turned around, they did an about face, and they marched to the U.S. Capitol. And they demanded to be let in. And when their demands wasn't met, they overwhelmed the putrid security forces that was aligned around the U.S. Capitol. And I'll get on that later about the lack of preparation, the lack of logistics, the lack of inner police work or inner police cooperation between the different law enforcement agencies within the Metro DC area. And with all those federal agencies, there are plenty, whether it's universities, whether it's the Capitol building, whether it's the Secret Service, whether it's the U.S. Marshals, whether it's the Postal Service police. But again, back to my point. Those people turned around and they marched to the Capitol after they got their marching orders from their dear leader, Donald J. Trump. And when they got to the Capitol, they wanted in because they wanted those senators and those congressmen to know, you will not cheat our candidate. You will not cheat our leader. We want these votes overturned. Not understanding the process, not understanding that nothing they could have done would have changed the procedures and the ceremonial things that was taking place in the halls of Congress yesterday. As I've been telling people as I go on panels and as I be in different places, in different spaces in YouTube, and I hear the Trump supporters telling me there is hope, there is hope, there's this part, there is that, there is this, there is that. Some have said we have legal remedies. Some have said he can call martial law. Some have talked about the Insurrection Act, right? Which came to fruition yesterday. But do you think he's going to call it on the people he sent to do that nonsense? No, he's not. No, he's not. So what we seen in the U.S. Capitol, in the halls of Congress yesterday, were angry white men and women, and some black men, some black women, very few. I didn't see any black women, but I seen some brothers, very few. Out of the thousands, you might have seen one or two brothers milling around. Peace, Tim Harvey. Peace, Cool Channel. Thank you for joining. Don't forget to hit the like. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to tell your people that the AC Star Morning Show, but my impromptu afternoon broadcast, just to talk about what we seen yesterday, which I titled the Trump Coup 2021. But back to my point. It is a federal crime to break in, damage, vandalize, or to enter a federal building unlawfully. It is a federal crime. And we watched thousands and thousands of Trump supporters not only violate that law, but do it willingly and happily as they took selfies with the police officers who were supposed to be defending said building. They watched as thousands of white men and women and hundreds of white men and women trampled through the halls of Congress, put their feet up on the desk of elected officials. These older men and women had to be secure in secure places and protected in secure places, and they had to hide out because the present occupant of the White House thought it was okay to pour gasoline on an already tinderbox, and it exploded. And now we're left to deal with the aftermath. That in the 200 plus years of our republic, the only time the U.S. Capitol has been invaded was by an invading foreign army, the British Army, in 1814. And when those buildings were burned down, guess who were charged to build them back up? The slaves, the African slaves. And guess what? Those people vandalized, attacked, infiltrated the U.S. Capitol building because they don't like the fact that black people in 4 general locations of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Detroit, Michigan, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Atlanta, Georgia was the catalyst to Donald Trump losing the election. The process that they went to interrupt was basically a process to undo the vote of those black people in those 4 predominantly black locations. That's all this was about, ladies and gentlemen. To undo black vote. There is no way that those black people can deter us from electing our leader, from electing our paragon of whiteness and Western civilization. We won't let that happen. So what did they do? They did the unspeakable. They went into the United States Capitol building and they showed what white privilege and whiteness can get you in America. They showed that they can commit the highest crime against our government and get away with it. And now they think if they go lock them up after the fact, that that's going to somehow be okay. It's not. A lot of people failed yesterday, but those people were successful because they showed the world that white people in America could do what the fuck they want to do and get away with it. They showed the world that America is a place where people live by different rules, where there's rules for whites and then there's rules for blacks and others. Because we all know if the majority of those people that were protesting, excuse me, and rioting yesterday and infiltrating and invading our state capital were African American, it would have been a bloodbath. And they would have justified it. And they would have talked about the dignity and the sanctity of the state capital and how that won't be tolerated. This is a lot, ladies and gentlemen. This is not something that's simply a blip on a radar of time. This is history. Big shout out to my man Renaissance. Please know Renaissance Man is going to be a big part of my show. I align with that brother mentally. I love talking with that brother. Me and that brother have a lot in common, and I'm a, make sure I use his intelligence and use his smarts to advance what I got going on here and to make sure that we keep the people informed. But ladies and gentlemen, what took place yesterday was a travesty on all levels. We witnessed people saying that their way of life and their culture will prevail, and we will not go for diversity. We will take our nation back no matter what. So where do we go from here, ladies and gentlemen? Where do we go from here? Do we find commonality, or do we prepare for civil war, or do we prepare for civil unrest? I'm going to go with the latter. I think a lot of times in America, what happens is we have a media that's complicit in downplaying white rage and white nationalist violence and white nationalist actions that's detrimental to society. I always wonder why people never question the media for always downplaying crimes that have racial narratives that are done by known white supremacists or done with known racial malice. It's almost like they're afraid that their emails and their phone banks are going to be log jammed with white people complaining that Kyle Rittenhouse was a hero. How dare you talk bad about him? We see it. I always think about the incident in Washington with the little white kid from Kentucky who had the interaction with the Native American brother, and how they twisted and turned it, and how he won money because American society wouldn't allow for him to be defamed, wouldn't allow for his character to be assassinated. when the young boy was a fucking prick and he did some ignorant shit to an elder and he got rewarded for being a racist prick. So now we're faced with all these people that's complicit in hiding this menace we call Western civilization ideology, because that's what it is. It's a menace. And it's been going around the globe for hundreds of years, and it's built this empire. And now its power is waning. And now the idea of whiteness is being diluted. And they're not prepared for their inevitable end. So here comes Donald Trump to champion whiteness, to tell them that I'm gonna make you cool again. I'm gonna make whiteness the shit again. Follow me. Follow me. Not realizing that he can't make white cool again. You can't go against nature. You can't go against the darkening of the globe. So, yo, tell me what y'all think, chat. Let me know what's going on. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Talk to me out there. Let me know what's going on. That was a lot yesterday. That was a lot. When you've seen those things and you've seen the crowd just chilling on the Capitol step and the cops just purveying them, it was just like, wow, they can just do whatever they want to do and nobody says anything to them. And every black person in America that don't hate being black, we already felt that. We already knew that. We already knew what it was to be black in America. It's that double consciousness that W.E. Du Bois always talk about. On one side, you got to live your life and you got to keep moving. And then on the flip side, you got to deal with the society that does everything in their power to make sure that they limit your movement. And now we have to watch it in real time, whether it's all the Karens or all the little kids being accused of phones, the Ahmaud Arbery's of the world, the Jacob Blakes of the world. Well, now we have to watch it in real time. Where before it was just folk tales or personal anecdotal stories that you told that happened to you in the dark of the night or on the back street when some cop pulled you over or on the front porch in the summertime when you and your family was just kicking it. And some new dickhead cops came to tell y'all to turn y'all music down because the neighbors was complaining when all the neighbors was sitting on the porch with y'all. See, it's so many stories that we can tell about the hypocrisy of living in America and the two systems and the two rules of law and the two social rules of law where they can do what they want and we can't. Tamir Rice got killed for playing with a toy gun. Something that young white kids get to do freely and not have to worry about being shot or being thought of as an adult. So now it's done came to full circle where it's huge, where now they have no problem. What security do we have as a people against people who have no problem with storming the Capitol? Renaissance man, let me read your comment real quick. The one funny thing is that these people told on themselves. Nose face covering. Some of these people are gonna do some time. Well, yeah, Renaissance. I don't think a lot of these people realize like the actions that they partook in, and see now they're gonna be made examples of because the response was so weak in the beginning. So just to save face, they're going to get prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Or, knowing America, they're going to get probation. They're going to get community service. They're going to be told to go sit with some black people and find out what it's like to be black. I don't have no anticipation that justice will prevail in this. I'm kind of skeptical, to be honest with you. But I do understand what you're saying. Not only a death of an ideology, the Cool Channel, we're witnessing how civilizations change, right? How a group of people who they rose to the top of the food chain, and now demographics and nature is going to unseat them, and they have no counterattack. The only thing they can do is go out kicking and screaming, and we'll see where that gets them. Peace out to the young God, KS. Peace, KS. Salute, young brother. Salute. That's another young brother I'm going to definitely have on here. I'm going to do some panels every once in a while, y'all. That's not going to be my main thing. I kind of want to create me a little crew. You know, I want to do this individually because it's the AC Morning Show. But, you know, I don't want to be just a monotone voice and every day I come on and just hear me yapping and yapping and yapping. I'm kind of glad I started my own channel, so now I don't got to go to other people's channel because I'll be yearning to get this out. And just sometimes I'll be wanting to interact with other people and not so much with myself. But what I'm realizing is a lot of them aren't serious and they're just fanatics. So the conversation can never really be coherent and cohesive and consistent. It just gets all around the place, and then you find yourself having personal battles and then losing your focus or losing your, just losing your ability to stay on point with the conversation. So in doing this myself, it gives me the ability to just be in control. Just be in control. Because we need different voices. In the black space, what I've noticed is not a lot of black people that think like me or think like, Renaissance Man. Right? Like people would think I associate with an RBR. Like he gave me my start and he allowed me to be on this platform freely. But Coram, what's up, my G? This is my real G right there. Coram, my brother. That's my true brother right there. But I just thought it was time for me to do it myself so that I can speak about these things and talk to people, you know what I'm saying, that's more or less in tune with the vibe that I'm in tune with. Renaissance, I think they want to do it, but this is the thing, right? Like, and I want to ask you guys, right? Like, what recourse do they have right now? Because the 25th Amendment will take maybe 8 to 10 days. And then, see, like if he resign or we kick him out, that's only going to inflame his people even more. I mean, I don't know if we can last these next 14 days or 13 days with him in office. But if we kick him out, it's only going to inflame his people even more. And then we're going to have a bigger fish to fry. So I don't know. I think they want to, like a few minutes ago, maybe like an hour, maybe like a half hour ago, Chuck Schumer, he says he wants to invoke the 25th Amendment. He wants to get Trump out of there. He wants to get him out of there. Yo, man, I think I should drop the link, man. Maybe I should drop the link, man. Let you gentlemen come up, man. Yo, Renaissance and what's the name? Y'all got hit me on my email, man. I'm gonna put my email in the chat, man, and then hit me on my email, man, and I'm gonna send y'all the link, man. I think their coup attempt was yesterday, Coram. I think that was their attempt yesterday, and I think they failed, and they failed because they were just a bunch of angry white people that had no true organization. They were a bunch of ragtag, bunch of white people who just were angry, and they met up at the same place, and their anger created a physical glob of nonsense, and that glob went and, made a mess and then rolled on out. It was gently pushed out of the building. It wasn't like Ghostbusters where they came in and zapped it. They just kindly shoved the blob out. They pointed guns at it. You know what I mean? A few bullets went off, but they kindly just pushed the blob out. So I don't know. I think the coup failed yesterday. I'm gonna put my email in there, man, and I want you guys to hit my email, man, so y'all can come on up, man. We can chop it up a little bit. And now I'm not too good at this, y'all. I mean, I just started learning how to like rock my own show. So if I have a hard time bringing y'all up, man, just bear with me, man. But I want to bring y'all up and chop it up a little bit if y'all don't mind. So dig on my email in the chat. Go ahead and hit me up, man. I'll check my email, man, and then I'll send y'all the link through invite, and we'll go from there. Cause I don't want to just have everybody up here dropping the link and motherfuckers jumping on, and then I got to start being, the way I don't want to be. You know what I'm saying? You know how that is, Corey M. I don't want to be. I want to be different over here. I want to have some decorum. I want to behave myself a little bit. Yeah, man. But yo, KS. So what do you think about that yesterday, KS? Because I didn't really get to hear what you were saying yesterday on. This morning on Mo's channel. And peace to Mo. I know Mo a little mad at me because Mo don't like when I talk this shit like this. But peace to Mo. Peace to Mo. Nah, Coram, I ain't turning up no more, man. Hell no. Hey, Coram, and I noticed on the low, your ass be turning up too. Like when you on one, your ass be on one. I be seeing y'all like this nigga be on one. Yeah, Coram, I be seeing you, dog. I'll be seeing you, dog. Yo, yeah, hit me, man. If y'all want to come up, man, hit the link. Hit the email, man. I'll send y'all the link, man. We go ahead and chop it up a little bit, man. I especially want to chop it up with you, Renaissance. KS, hit it. Coram, I know you don't do panels. I know you just be on the low. You probably on your way to the beach or something, Coram. But yeah, man, so I'm going to try to do this YouTube thing, man, and see where it go. But back to this thing with Trump, man. Trump is definitely totally to blame for this, right? But he's had enablers, so many enablers along the way that it's just so many people that we could, that we could blame or we could bring to bear for this. But do the nation have the guts? Do they have the guts? You know what I'm saying? Do they have the guts to deal with bringing treasonous, seditious citizens to trial? Do we have the guts to prosecute his sons, to prosecute a Rudy Giuliani, who said the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life? Trial by combat. What the fuck is that? Trial by combat. Like, they just made that shit up? Like, what is that? Like, you know what I'm saying? What is that? Trial by combat. Like, I don't get that. Like, and these were the words that sprinkled that rebellion yesterday. That was a rebellion. That was an uncoordinated, sloppy ass rebellion that embarrassed the nation globally. And who will be held accountable for that? Who are we gonna say, listen, man, you created a treasonous action. You created a seditious action. You should be prosecuted for that. Do we have the Department of Justice? Do we have the Attorney General, which Biden just nominated Merrick Garland, the gentleman that Obama wanted to put up for the Supreme Court that Mitch McConnell summarily denied and did some fuck shit, some, woe is me fuck shit. I ain't get it. I'm looking for the email now. I'm looking for it now, Renaissance. My fucking phone be acting up, man. Dang. I don't know, man. This damn phone's crazy. But Trump is so who do we blame for this? Like, who do we depend on to prosecute this? Right now that we have a new administration coming in, will they want to rock the boat and, because they're coming in saying, man, we gotta have kumbaya, we gotta have peace, And I know that's what you're supposed to say, because that's what a leader would do. A true leader would come in hoping that he can get some unity and get, some things. Hey, send it again. Let me check and see if it's in my other shit, man. Okay, there we go. 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 All right, let me get your email, Renaissance. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I gotta learn how to push this button instead of coughing all the damn time. Yeah, man, because like it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Who's gonna be there to say, listen, somebody has to be held accountable for this, and we need them to understand that we have to send a message that we just can't have individuals storming our federal buildings and then getting away with it. We can't have that. We definitely can't have that. We definitely can't have that. I sent it to you, bro. You should be getting it in a minute, bro. We can't have that, man. Like, we can't have, people thinking that the country is at a position where they're too weak to defend federal buildings. Because if they're too weak to defend the federal government, they're going to be too weak to defend everyday citizens. So then you're going to start seeing rebellions and seeing insurrection activity in those locations that they think costed Trump the election. Because that's where they're going next. They're going to go to those cities. They're going to go to those blue states, and they're going to go to the capitals of those blue states, and they're going to do like they did in Michigan, or they're going to do like they did in Washington yesterday. And they're going to try to intimidate elected officials. They're going to try to create havoc. They're going to not let this just go. It's not going to be a thing where they let this go. They're not going to let it go. So what do we put in place? What parameters do we put in place to assure that justice will be meted out? That the security and safety of everyday African American and minority citizens who are now under the gun of these people? How do we begin to assure people that these measures will be met? Who will have these conversations? Because I'll give the government one thing, or I'll give those senators and congressmen one thing. Once that place got cleared out yesterday, they went back to work. And they wasn't intimidated. I know some of them was probably shook, but they was like, you know what? I'm going to still go back out here and do my job. Where a lot of people that would have went through that probably would have like, man, I ain't going back in there. Because that was a lot. For 70, 60-something-year-old women to have to duck down and hide behind pews and hide behind them old wooden ass chairs and run and duck and all that. That shit that you see in the hood, shootouts and shit like that, with people doing B&Es or doing home invasions. That was literally a home invasion yesterday. That was literally a home invasion. Trying to see if let me just put this in here, man. trying to figure out. I sent the link out. So I'm just trying to figure out. Just trying to figure out how to bring. Want to make sure I do it right. So if the brother come through, I can make sure I got the spot for him. Make sure everything is good. But what I'm gonna try to do is drop this link in here. So if that don't work, y'all can just click the link. I think that should work right there. There we go. Okay, there go my boy right there. Renaissance, what's good with you, bruh?
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can the crowd hear you? Can y'all hear him? Let me get a one if y'all can hear my boy.
Yeah, no, the link worked fine. It was just me having to sign in.
Okay. What's going on, bro? Good morning to you. Well, good afternoon, should I say? Good afternoon. I'm sorry. Good afternoon, bro.
No, you good. You were on BMT's panel with me, weren't you?
Yeah, this morning. Yeah.
Yeah. Up there with David trying to justify this.
Yeah, that was insane. But after a while, we realized he was just trolling us, and he wasn't really serious about what was going on.
Yeah. That link I put a link down in the chat, Twitter, because there is actually a real funny. It's not funny, but it's a crazy video of just how like you see all these black guys basically cleaning up the Capitol staff having to clean up after all these white supremacists, have pretty much run and torn through the Capitol. And it's just like, it's so ironic in that sense.
Yeah.
Here these people come run amok, and it's black people here to have to clean up the mess.
Right.
And that's what I was saying in the chat too, is like, if it wasn't for, black turnout, in the primary election, the general election, and then, a couple of days ago in Georgia, Trump still be in charge.
Right. And this is the thing, right? He was the one who handicapped himself on that Georgia election. He was the one who handicapped himself. He was the one who, pretty much told them, man, they cheated me. Okay, well, since they cheated you, then now, we ain't going to vote either. So now look.
Yeah, it was the Republicans too, because like they spent probably about 2 or 3 weeks arguing, like trying to throw the Secretary of State under the bus and all that. And he was kind of finally like, hey, y'all realize there's a runoff in like a month. Like y'all might actually want to start campaigning.
Right.
Purdue wouldn't even debate the guy Ossoff. Like he wouldn't debate him. Loeffler was just running around making all types of crazy claims, taking pictures of like former white supremacists and stuff. So it's just like their party is in big trouble.
Yeah, I heard an interesting take on Fox News yesterday. The lady that does the morning, I don't know if she does the morning show or the afternoon show. She was saying that she had some friends down there in Georgia that she was speaking to, and she had kind of gave her a synopsis on, why the scenario was the way it was. And the lady kind of explained to her, like, listen, Raphael Warnock in Georgia is a superstar. He's Obama-like in Georgia, right? In comparison to Kelly Loeffler, who's a transplant, or the Purdue guy who she said the people just was like, he wasn't coherent. Him and Kelly Loeffler wasn't coherent. So, excuse me, there was a level of pushback and a level of reckoning when it came to those two candidates. That it just wasn't, an anti-Trump vote. Some people really thought about how inarticulate and how they wasn't good candidates at the end of the day. So, I think what's happening with Georgia is the fact that it's becoming so, cosmopolitan in its way, right? That it's going to be a blue state like Virginia, because now the people can't ignore the intelligence of the people that's now presiding in the state. And they have a lot of political superstars that's coming out of Georgia and that's coming out of the South. Because Stacey Abrams, Warnock, Keisha Lance Bottoms, Harrison, the South has some stars right now.
The lady who, because I used to live in Atlanta a couple of years back, the lady who took John Lewis's seat, You know, John Lewis used to be out of Atlanta before he passed
Right,
on.
right. I'm not familiar with it. I'm just kind of got familiar with her recently because they were saying that she won his seat. So I'm just really catching on her. But I like her energy. You know, I like her confidence in her energy that she displays when she speaks.
Yeah. She's been in state government for a while. Like it wasn't just like someone randomly. Like they were real deliberate on who they put in that seat. So yeah, she's gonna be good as well too. But going back to yesterday, all of that was just overshadowed by all this that happened at the Capitol, and it's just like it's like you see, like I sat there and watched it yesterday, kind of live when they were having to they were streaming uh, the Senate chamber, and then all of a sudden you see people like rushing the VP out of there, and people like getting being evacuated out. So like I kind of saw it live, and it was just like even when I woke up this morning, you see the pictures. It's crazy to think, wow, that really happened. And it's right down because I'm right outside of DC, so it's crazy to think that was only 30 minutes from where I am. And
Right.
they said by the weekend roughly like 6,200 National Guard troops will be here, like pretty much for at least the next 30 days.
I mean, think about this. I live in New Jersey, right? And New Jersey is about a 3 hour, 2.5, 3 hour trip to DC. They called up New Jersey State Troopers as backup.
Yeah, because the lady was the mayor, Mario Bowser. She was talking about basically the Capitol Police they're their own little police. They were saying they're kind of like almost like campus police would be on a university. So
Right.
like when they had to then turn around and ask for help from Metro PD, people from Virginia, from Maryland.
Yeah, you know why though, bro? Because they denied her request for the National Guard, her initial request.
Yeah, Trump did. Pence had to take over and say, yeah.
And that was after she had contacted Maryland and Virginia so that they can send it. Because Northam and Hogan, they turned around and sent her state troopers and sent her the guard.
Yeah. So Trump would have let this gone unchecked. He would have let this keep going.
Yeah. I think they allowed this to happen. I think that once you've seen, like, if you play the tapes back now, you will see a lot of tapes where the Capitol Police would kind of be standing there post, and then it was just this one scene where they just kind of opened up the bike racks and just kind of let them walk on in.
Yeah, I saw that one. You had a police officer taking a selfie with some of these guys.
Yeah, like what about protect and serve? Like, what about protect and serve? I mean, this has such such ramifications globally, domestically. Like where do we go from here? Like how do we address? Like, this is so out of the norm, right? Like, how does a nation go from that? Where do we go from that? Like, because in America, we're apt to just brush over shit. Shit happens and we just, oh man, fuck it, tomorrow I gotta go to work anyway. You know what I'm saying? We could beat our wife up, bitch, and go to work the next day like we ain't just give our wife a black eye. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what Americans do. You know what I mean? So where do we go from here?
I don't know. Like, if you see the pictures, like I'm sure you saw the picture of the guy walking around with the Confederate flag in the Capitol.
Yeah,
it's like some of this is going to be in a history book like 100 years from now, and people's grandkids, great grandkids, can be like, "What the hell was going on?" Like,
right.
that picture of dude sitting in Nancy Pelosi's office with his feet up on the desk, guy sitting in the Senate chamber with the mask on. It's just like, is this a movie I'm watching?
Hey, yo, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's so real that it's almost hard to conceptualize it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost hard to like fathom it. Like, what the fuck? Like, your brain is really trying to process. Like, did I really see that yesterday?
The craziest one is seeing when they got the House chamber door barricaded, and you got those 4 Secret Service guys with the 4 guns pointed out at the window, and a dude standing on the other side. It's just like
looking at him like he looking at him like how Jack Nicholson looked at what's name. I'm back. You know what I'm saying? Just weirdo shit. Like, it was just some third world shit. Like, just some, like, we was watching some shit taking place over in some Eastern Bloc country. Like, that's what that shit looked like yesterday.
Yeah, it was crazy. But I mean, you got, and then the other thing, I don't know if you heard about this. after it all happened, Giuliani actually was calling. He was trying to call the Senator Tuberville from Alabama. He was trying to call him. He called the wrong senator and left a message trying to get people to, still say if they were on board with, objecting to the election results. It's just like, wow, all of this is happening. They just like it. They're on phase. This is like, okay, business as usual. We got to get back to try to overturn this election.
Right. Like, all right, that action failed. Now let's see what we can drum up some more. What's in it? But did you see the turnaround from Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell? Like, they just was like, you know what? It's over, man. I ain't doing this no more.
Yeah, I was just like, for Graham, I was just like too little, too late for a lot of y'all. Right. So I'm just like, y'all. Like, here's the thing with Trump. Trump is not someone who's going to respect any sort of like shame or anything like that. Trump is one of these guys that's only going to really respond to like consequences for his actions.
Right.
You're not going to be able to sit down with this guy and tell him, like, reason with him or like shame him in doing anything. He's only going to get it in the sense of, okay, if I do this, there are going to be federal charges or I'm going to be kicked out the White House or something like that.
Right.
Because you see, he now put out a statement talking about, oh, well, there's going to be a peaceful transition.
Right, like that was crazy. Like, dog, yeah. you just sent your people to do a coup. It didn't work. Like, oh, y'all know I was leaving. I was just joking. Like, that's basically what he said. Oh no, I was just playing. Well, nigga, you know how you used to be like, well, nigga, I don't play like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't play like that.
Yeah, but like but see, the only negative consequence that Trump has really gotten is what all his social media has been shut down.
Yeah, you got like, people talking about
you got people talking about invoking the 25th Amendment. People talking about drawing up articles of impeachment. So it's just like that's the only thing that even gets him to even remotely act like
Hey, but think about this, dog. Think about this. We're championing and we're happy that his Twitter got taken away and his Facebook, like he's our teenage kid, right? Like, give me your phone, bring me your phone. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Like, think about that. Like, that's where we're at. Where we literally had to say to the leader of the free world, give me your damn phone. You want punishment? Like, think about that.
Yeah, it's crazy. And like you said, look at how many people voted for this guy. Like, and look how close it was still. Like, as far as absolute number of votes, like you're talking about what, roughly 60,000 votes could have swung this another way in the right states.
Right.
So it's just crazy how close he is to being was to being reelected. And then how many people like signed on in the beginning and didn't see this coming.
I don't think we would have survived another 4 years in.
No, there's no way. I mean, this is what you got. You haven't even got 4 full years. And it's just like, when I start thinking about some of the stuff that's happened, it feels like it's almost like a lifetime ago. Like, it's hard to remember, like, hey, for the first 2 years, this guy's administration, you had a whole Russian investigation going on. Like, that seems like ancient history, just from the fact that for the past, since the election was over, you've had this guy fighting, the election of all these lawsuits and claims and all of this. And it's like, in the middle of all that yesterday, like it hit me later in the day, like, damn, a pandemic is still going on.
Right. Like, I mean, it's so many things. And that's why I was saying earlier, bro, your brain is almost like, okay, how do I process this? Where do I put this at? Especially if you're politically inclined like us and who absorb political information and political, satire or whatever. Like, where do we put the other stuff? Like, where do we put the just over the top actions of this man? Where do we put that in an insane psyche, right? Where do you put that at?
Yeah, it's like, and you even think about it, the whole thing with him calling the Georgia Secretary of State the other day, saying like, I just need 11,000 votes, go find them. It's like, everyone was talking about that, and it's like, that is now like off the back burner. It's like, and if any other president did something even remotely like that, it would just be like, okay, like you got the lady down in Fulton County saying, hey, if any crimes were committed in my jurisdiction, like, they're going to be prosecution for him. Basically asking the Georgia Secretary of State to overturn the election like that. And it's just like, that's just a normal day.
And listen, Renaissance. He read this shit off the piece of paper like, I need you to get me 11,700. Like, dog, you're reading it off the paper.
Yeah.
Like you have a specific number that you're requesting. Like you're requesting, I need 11,780 napkins exactly. But you're talking about votes. You want them to harvest you 11,000 votes. So you'll be one over. You want to win an election by one. And you don't think that this is psycho. You don't think that this is just over the top. That the leader of the free world is trying to solicit enough votes so that he can win a state by one vote. Like, that's a lot, man.
And here's the thing: even if he won Georgia, it's like, dude, you still lost the election. Like you'd have to flip 2 or 3 states depending on what states to win.
And the thing is, Georgia didn't cost you, family. Arizona, Nevada, and Pennsylvania and Michigan costed you.
Yeah. Georgia was just icing on the cake.
Right. Georgia is more for political savants and political people so they can talk about the historical change of a once proud red state turning blue. Like, that's what Georgia is. Georgia is just a new study for political sciences to see how a state turns blue, right? Like, that's what Georgia would be. And then Texas would be that in 5 or 10 years. So political scientists will use Texas and Georgia like they're doing Virginia now, where they can pretty much call Virginia just based on the Northern Virginia vote, right? And how that's become so blue based on the professional people that's there, based on, the new demographics that's in the state. So Georgia was just more a political anomaly than something that he should have worried about, because that wasn't your issue, bro. Yeah. But Corham had said something really poignant. He was like, the regression in racism, right? That's the issue. But to be honest, I already said we weren't ready for a black president. And that's what this is really about.
Oh, yeah. White backlash.
That's what this is really about. I don't think any of us would have imagined when Obama killed him at that dinner, the Al Smith dinner, where Obama, or was it the correspondence dinner? Not the Al Smith,
it was a correspondence
dinner, where he went in on him. None of us would have imagined what was going on in Donald Trump's head at that time was to become president. None of us would have imagined that. Even with the birther shit, none of us thought that this was a foray for Donald Trump to become president. But when he seen that he was accepted and the media would play along, someone told him, there's an end for you. And he used that black backlash of a black president. He used that, and the chatter behind the scenes and the chatter in the white racist underground, he used that to propel him. He used that.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy. If you imagine, say, because this is 2021. Imagine, say, you go back to like 2007, 2008, and you're at the end of the Bush administration and you see Obama coming in. Like, can you imagine if someone would have told you, okay, like roughly a little bit over 10 years from now, Trump would have been president for 4 years and all of this would have happened? It's just like the dynamic. Because, I'm sure I was a little bit young, but the Bush administration, I still remember the back end of it. Of how many people were ready for him to go, and how bad people thought of the administration, and it's like you got one that's like 10 times worse getting ready to go out of office.
Right, because see, the thing with Bush was he was an idiot, right? Like he was too. When you think of president, you think of a smart person, and he never resonated as a smart person. It was too. Everybody could readily identify that this dude wasn't smart. And that's what his whole thing was. It was like, oh man, how you gonna be in charge of me and I'm smarter than you? That's what Bush gave off. You know what I mean? Like, man, how we got this idiot in charge of us, right? So it was okay for him to lead because we knew he wasn't going to harm us. It was just, you don't want to be in a car with a motherfucker that can't drive. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll catch the bus, dog. Yeah. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't mad at him. Like, you don't hate him, but I'm good. I'll catch the bus, or I'll call that fat chick I've been avoiding. She could take me to work. You know what I mean? That's what Bush was. But with Trump, it was like, I don't want him in my neighborhood. I don't want him next to me. I just want him gone. And 80 million people just wanted him gone. It ain't even, Biden didn't get elected because he was some great idea or some new thing we wanted to try. We just knew he could help us get rid of Trump.
Yeah, that's what I was telling someone the other day. They were talking about people voting for Biden. I'm like, bruh, so many people voted against Trump. Like that, you could argue Biden won the primaries because people were afraid, hey, if we put someone like Sanders or someone else up there, even a Buttigieg or something like that, that they're not going to be able to win the general election, and that was the whole thing.
Right, 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 right. And see, the thing is, I was telling somebody earlier today, it took for Jim Clyburn and Obama to stand up to make sure that those other people just stood and took a step back, right? Because they understood this ain't about Joe Biden, ladies and gentlemen. This is about getting Trump out, and none of you guys have the balls or the moxie or the political backing to get him out. If we stand behind Joe Biden and we use our forces a little more strongly and a little more committed than we did with Hillary, we can get this dude out of here. And that's what that was about. And I think there needs to be more awareness of who really propelled Joe Biden to where he's at. Not, outside of the black vote, but more or less the power brokers and the individuals who thought it was important to make sure he became the candidate. We need to talk about that more, because then we'll understand who the leadership is in the Democratic Party.
Yeah, because I think, wasn't that you on BMT's channel? Someone was saying, I guess they were talking about Democrat or Republican. They were saying like, I think someone said black people were the power of the Democratic Party, and they were pushing back.
Yeah, I said that they were the power of the Democratic Party at this point, and they are.
Yeah, definitely a significant block. Like you could argue Hispanics are going to play a major role as far as like the swing vote in there, but you start talking about your core, most reliable base, absolutely.
Hey, but the thing about the Hispanic vote renaissance that a lot of people don't pay attention to, and I'm trying to get a better idea of the trends, as they move up economically, their political ideology change. So they may be liberal making 50,000 now, but when they become 80, 90, 100,000, they kind of become conservative.
Yeah, it depends. It'll be interesting because you could argue some of that happens with black people.
Yes.
I mean, it hasn't happened for me. Like for me, it's kind of like, okay, I may be making decent money, but it's just like, I've seen what's happened in history where you have very successful black people, or a black township or something like that, and it's like that makes you an even bigger target when you start having success. So,
right.
If you don't know your history, some of these dudes, I think, get that mentality of, oh, well, I got money, that's their problem. And it's like, nah, like if you just leave your community completely behind, I'm not saying you got to stay in the same neighborhood with them, or, be buddies with them or things like that. But you got to be smart enough to realize, hey, if they're in need of these things, or, this is a priority, whether it be something, like better schools, or more economic opportunities so more people can move up, that's in your interest. So you're not out here just by yourself.
It's weird, right? Like, my background a little bit. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you know my background, but I did a few things that I ain't proud of in my earlier days. But one thing that I've noticed, right, as I get older, and I've kind of been away from that life for a while, but I'm, my boys, they still my boys, and we still love each other, and we still kick it with each other. You know what I mean? Like, I have two sets of friends. I have my working friends, and then I have my hoodlum friends, right? But my hoodlum friends are now very prosperous, very, successful, you know what I'm saying? And now they're on par with my working friends. But the one thing I noticed about my hood friends, right? They use that money that we made, and the thing that I did wrong. Well, I ain't gonna say I did wrong. I just didn't stay long enough to make enough money to go where they went. But they all went to the suburbs. If they got out and they still had a little bit of money left, they went to the suburbs, and not so much to get away from blackness, but to give their kids a better chance and a better opportunity. Now, that's the one thing I regret. But I needed my girls to be in an urban setting so they can get their spider senses, so that they wouldn't go out into the world blind, right? Because they're spoiled. And I wanted them to understand what it was to struggle, not necessarily for them to struggle, but to see others that don't have what they have. And I think it worked, because now they work, they have jobs, and now they're a little more respectable and responsible about things.
Nah, it's definitely a trade-off. Like, you could go to the extreme of where your kids really don't have a sense of the real world, or you can go to the extreme, but you know they kind of get pulled down in it. So it's a fine balance. You got to find where you have people know, like, hey, you know, I got a good situation here. I get to do a lot of things a lot of other people, especially people who look like me, don't. And you
Right.
know, if you come across someone who's struggling, or you know, may not have had the most opportunities, you can take that time to mentor them or pull
Right.
them by the side and say, hey,
Right.
you know, I see you're struggling with this. Like, hey, this is how this needs to be done. You know, you know,
Right.
you see people who, you know, trying to figure things out, and it's just I saw that in college. Like, you had guys who would come to college. You know, when I went to college, you know, I knew what business casual meant, but you had guys who didn't know that. So, you know, instead of looking down on them or something like that, you pull them aside and say, hey, business casual means this, just so you know, when you get out into the work world, you know what the expectation is.
Right. That's why I want to kind of use this show to inform and to not ostracize or judge, because you know in this black space we have a lot of people that judge people, a lot of people that you know have this hard mentality, like, man, fuck them, if they don't know, I ain't gonna teach them. You know what I'm saying? And for me, like, that's our problem. Like, we don't like to share information. We don't like to share knowledge. We just like to be know-it-alls and have the preeminent information, or go join a winning team, or find a group to bash. Is there a group that we want to uplift? Right? That's outside of, like, I don't have no problem with uplifting men, right? But do men go uplift young men? Do men go uplift young boys? Or does it just stop at uplifting men, right? Do we just keep all the information amongst men and we don't share with the boys? So the boys won't grow up to be men because they don't have the requisite information or the proper information to grow up and be men. And I think that's the one thing I want to kind of do with my channel, is be more informative and inform people. And when people hear me talk, don't think that I'm trying to be a know-it-all, but just understand that I'm trying to inform you on information that I found valuable and beneficial to me. And I think a lot of times in the spaces, we tend to share white information. We tend to share, you know, technology and things of that nature, but we tend not to share personal stories of success, or personal stories of overcoming, or personal anecdotal ideas that will help people understand better the processes, or you know, like you just said, casual business casual, understanding that's just a nice polo with some khakis and some nice shoes. Like, you ain't got to put on a shirt and tie, just have on a nice sweater. It could be a mock neck sweater, it could be a sweater, you know, a black sweater, you know what I'm saying, or it could be a what's the name, a vest, a sweater vest. But that kind of information is very important, and it allows us to grow, because those are the, when people give you little information like that about what's business casual, just little things, how to speak properly, or how to do business memos and things of that nature, those things make you feel better when you know how to do it. It gives you confidence. Like, when you chip away at all those little things that you don't know, and people teach you little things that'll help you go out into the world and be successful, those things give you confidence. Those little seeds and those little kernels, when they pop, they give you confidence. And I think that's what we need more of. I think we need more confidence building and more informative channels that allow people to learn and feel good about themselves, and not be caught up in battles or joining teams and sides and labels. I mean, that's just how I personally feel.
Nah, you're right. Like, we were talking about it on another channel. And he was one of the hosts was asking, you know, what blackness was like, as far as like um the identity, I guess you could say. And I was telling him, you know, to me it was essentially, hey, you know, I may walk into a room and I see this black guy, that we may not know each other, but you know, we see each other, eyes connect, and we both drop our heads like, hey, you may have come from the hood, you know, you may have come from upper middle class background, you may have come from a rich background, you may just be a regular dude, but at the end of the day, you all have a common experience, whether it be, you know, experiencing some sort of racism, you know, having that nervous feeling when you see the police even just driving around, like, oh, are they going to come and stop me for whatever reason? Uh, and he was just saying he thought some of that had died off, and that's why you see some of the I guess some of the division, or uh, I guess conflict in the community at times.
Yeah. And I think it's just because we don't know what team we on. Like we like like because in life you want to be a part of something, right? Maslow's law, right? You want to be a part of something. The hierarchy, like you have these needs that has to be met, and one of the needs is belonging to something. And black people, we know our bodies, our DNA, our genetic structure know that we're a long way from home, a long way from home, and it's yearning that genetic and that metaphysical connection that it know it's not gonna get right to tune the body up. So what happens is we're just here trying to figure it out, and we're trying to figure it out in a place that won't give us the space to really figure it out. So it's a rough cut. You know what I mean? It's a rough rough cut. Like we can't get a clean cut of who we are and what we belong to. We can't really ground ourselves in anything. So we use their religion with the church. We're now trying to use their politics. We use entertainment, things of that nature, just to kind of ground ourselves in something. And I think that it comes a time where we have to ground ourselves in us, right? We can't look for a team. We can't look for a savior. The saviors are individual pursuits, and then we just collectively bring them together and hope that can get us where we're going. But to continue like looking for a team to belong to is not going to help us.
Yeah,
that's not going to help us.
That's why I never get like the whole conservative thing and all this. Like we were on the panel earlier with David, who was defending, which he was obviously trolling. You know, some of these people are just going for the money, obviously, but it's like, I don't know, like it seems like a certain segment of people are just like, I don't know if they're just living in Twilight Zone or if they don't know the history or what, but it's like when you start really pressing them on, okay, like why do you think the Democratic Party is not the party for us? Like we were on that same panel I was on the Outer Rim on the Code Breakers. They were talking to a guy who came up there and basically said, black people shouldn't vote. And they just started asking him like how is this going to work? Like you got other groups have been advocating for this for over 60 years, and what is your long-term strategy in this? And it's just like, do you see other groups telling their communities not to vote, not to be politically active? Like if you're not happy with what you're getting, that's what the Tea Party was. That's what that was yesterday. People weren't happy with what they saw going on, and they went, and they did what they felt was going to create a change. We seem to be the only people who want to say, oh, well, I don't like what I'm getting from this party, so I'm just not going to participate.
Right. And see, for me, that's detrimental to us because what we're not paying attention to is that the other groups are becoming politically strong, and now they're becoming political parties and having their way. You know what I'm saying? Like it's weird to me, like where other groups are benefiting from the political process and now we want to withdraw. And I understand we have a rationale as far as like we feel like we're being taken advantage of. But even in that, you formulate plans. See, we don't understand the process. For me, it's the process. I always tell people, if you want to talk politics, let's talk about the process, because the process, if you understand the process, then you will understand how to be a part of it and how to benefit from it. But if you don't understand the process, then you won't understand how to benefit from it. So when we talk about things like reparations and things of that nature, if you don't understand the process, you'll never get reparations. Just screaming reparations and understanding what reparations is one thing, but getting the process to swallow and process and push out results from reparations, you have to understand and engage the process, not only as an individual, but as an organization and as a power broker. You can't go in there talking about reparations and you don't have no lobbying forces behind you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the lobbying forces and the political action committees are the ones who go and have the initial forays with the legislators to begin the process of creating said legislation or talking about reparations and things of that nature. And because we don't have that, we'll get weak things like the HR 40, which is basically just a resolution to study the effects of slavery on American soil. Like, that's it. That and how would it be brought? But if you had a real pack and a real lobbying forces and real lawyers to adjudicate, or real lawyers to organize, or social scientists to organize your thoughts and your ideas behind your pack, you would get more than just HR 40. You would begin to get some legislation that's talking about what's the name? Talking about accommodations, economic accommodations, or any accommodations. But we don't understand the process.
Yeah, I'm hoping too. I'm hoping it's just like people are becoming more politically mature in the sense of like, you're seeing more and more black figures in not just politics, really. And that's what I was telling someone on another panel. Like, with us winning this seat down in Georgia, like to me, the timing is almost like another reconstruction in the sense. Even if you put it in the context of what happened yesterday, because it's like, okay, now people got this real idea of, okay, there's some real problems in this country. This guy Trump has gone way too far. His rhetoric, all of that, and the damage that he's done, coupled with the whole George Floyd situation earlier in the summer. It's just kind of like, to me, like I was looking at my LinkedIn the other day, and it was showing like they just appointed a black man as the head of the engineering school down at Georgia Tech, and like up there near you in Philly, not quite in New Jersey, like they just put a black woman over the head of the Wharton Business School. So it's like you're seeing all these people get these
at
new
UPenn.
opportunities.
Yeah, I seen that the other day at UPenn. Yeah, I seen that.
Yeah, you're seeing all these people, getting these opportunities. It's like you now have control of all three branches. I feel like people just need to be more focused than anything on, hey, you got a real opportunity while you got some momentum to get some things done. While the climate is what it is, while
Right,
people are
right,
focused
right,
in on like,
right,
hey, we
right.
got to do something, because of all of the racial inequality, that was even on, like you said, on full display yesterday. They were already talking about on the news how, had this been BLM or, just
They would have
black
been
people
shot
in
on the.
general.
They would have been killed on the spot.
Yeah. Like, but these people are just allowed to essentially, walk around, roam around in the Capitol, do all these things. And it's just like,
You know what's crazy? It's weird, right? Because watching them become primitive should be a call for us to become more evolved and become more refined in our everyday dealings. Like watching them just lose their shit should be like a catalyst for us to get our shit together. Like, okay, now that these motherfuckers want to act all crazy and be on some bullshit, now it's time for me to get my shit together. Start my channel, be more professional, speak better, educate myself more. See, and like I ain't no Kevin Samuels fan, but I ain't got no problem when he talk about that type of shit. When he talk about cleaning yourself up, thinking better, doing better, I don't have no problem with that. Like all the other shit, I don't, the bashing women and all that shit, I ain't with that shit. But as far as like equating yourself with success to become successful and doing all the requisite things to make yourself a better human being, I'm with that shit. And like right now, it behooves black people to think on those terms, because we on our own now. Like we used to could depend on a white man as much,
yeah,
because it was an independent relationship. It was an interdependent relationship. We were interdependent on them being successful because their success was trickled down to us. However small and minute it was, we took those little kernels of success and made them into big kernels of success, those of us who took them. So it would behoove us to do that right now.
nah, you're right. You got to, because like, here's the thing, like, if like you were saying, if you're seeing like what you saw yesterday, and just like how a large portion of their community is just losing their minds behind this, it's like, okay, you wanted freedom, but now you have to be responsible essentially for going out and doing what you need to do for your family, for your community, just because, like you said, you used to be, hey, and even Joe Biden said it. A lot of people in this space kind of, try to say it as, oh, he's talking down to black folks and all this, but he was just telling them, listen, like, uh, white folks are not going to be a majority, in 30 years. So, you have to look at the demographics and how things are changing, and essentially you're gonna have to start cutting deals with Hispanics at some point because, like, essentially, like someone said on one of the panels, like, hey, you've essentially sort of relied on us like for a while, like we're not gonna be what we once were, so you gotta stand on your own 2 feet as well as cut deals with the other communities that you need to.
Right. And I think it's time, like, and he's right. And I think we're afraid, though. I think as a people, we're afraid.
But people shouldn't be though. That's where it goes back to like not knowing history and stuff. It's like I didn't know this till the other day. I was on a panel. I had to go look it up. Duke University, the architecture of that school was designed by a black man. It's like that's something they'll never tell you in school.
Right.
And it's like how much of this stuff that we're sitting around here watching, how much have we or we look at, how much of it has been something that's really accredited to us and we just don't know it. Because I mean, when you study history, a lot of people will just focus on the negative, and you do need to focus on the things that went wrong, so you don't not to repeat them. But you also got to focus on the people who were able to be successful and overcome, because that'll be inspiring. Like damn, this person built a business in the middle of Jim Crow, or this guy was owning a hotel that Martin Luther King used to stay at, or this guy couldn't get funding for a golf course. So he built his own through the funding of black physicians.
Right.
Like you got to know those as well.
Right. And see, for me, that's what I want to highlight. I want to highlight the success stories. I want to highlight the stories that we don't have any platforms to readily promote these ideas or promote these stories. Like we need those inspiring stories. You need those because those are build you up. Like they're like little little markers along the way, because you can always reference back to like, yeah, man. Because see, for me, that idea is Don Peoples, because I'm in, I got my degree in urban planning and urban affairs. So I'm a Don Peoples fan because I want to develop. Properties and things of that nature like he does. I love what he does in the development world. And he's well respected. Like Don Peoples be on Fox News and he don't catch that flack like the other Democrats catch on there. They show him love. They turn to him for guidance. They turn to him for for comment, right? And I have a friend, I have a college a classmate, my man John. He's on Fox News all the time. Like he was the chairman of the Republican Party of Manhattan County. You know what I mean? And I know John personally, right? And John is a great dude, right? And so when they have him on there, it's like, wow, I know that man, and I know his character, and I know that they chose him because he's legit and he earned his keep. So for me, that's why I want to use platforms like this so I can better evolve myself and then have the ability to use the people that I look up to as a reference point to further my life and further build what I'm trying to do. Because it's hard coming from where I'm coming from, because I had to disconnect myself from the drug game and then create my own business with the landscaping. So it's like I'm trying to evolve and just add more to my life portfolio, that will allow me to have a more successsul life.
Now, do you know who Herman Russell is?
No, I haven't heard of him before.
No, you should look him up. He was big in Atlanta. He built, I want to say he was big in helping build the airport as well as.
Yeah. He was him and Maynard Jackson worked together to yep.
Airport, and I want to say like the Georgia Pacific building, several buildings. He was one of the biggest. I think he was at his time the biggest black general contractor in the country.
Don't his daughter still own it now? Don't his daughter run it now?
Yeah. I think his daughter and his son. Yeah. Maybe just the daughter. But yeah, he got an autobiography called Building Atlanta. You should look it up. Because it's crazy, because he was doing this, like I said, 40s and 50s. And he even actually, the other cool part, during the civil rights movement, he actually had acquired so much property. He actually used that as collateral to get civil rights protesters out of jail. So it's like he was able to, build a business, employ people, but then you can still do the social activism part on the side.
This is crazy, because this is exactly what I want to do. His company does everything I want to do.
Oh, you looked it up?
What? I'm on the site right now. They do everything I want to do. They have the development where they build the 21st century developments. They have the construction where they do the construction management. They have program managements for like transportation ideas and like trolleys and new subway systems. And they manage properties for developers and property owners. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And he went to HBC. He went to Tuskegee.
Wow.
Yeah, but you'll never know it. Like I said, I only knew it because I just stumbled across it.
Wow. Wow. This is deep. This is deep. Well, yo, man, I'm gonna go ahead and end this, man. This was wonderful, man. I appreciate you coming through, Renaissance, man. I'm a launch Monday, Wednesday, Thursdays. I'm gonna go like 8:30 to about 10:30. You know what I mean? I'm gonna try to go every other day because I got, I messed my arm up, so I got to go to physical therapy on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay, so you're not gonna be on RBR's channel as much.
Nah, I doubt it very seriously.
Y'all still cool, right?
I mean, yeah, I was on there yesterday. Yesterday. Yeah.
Okay. No, I saw you on BMT this morning. So
yeah, I was on there yesterday. BMT killed him yesterday. We was doing a live, and BMT got a copyright strike on him. So
damn,
they killed the live while we was in mid sentence. That shit was crazy as hell.
Oh yeah, I've had that happen before on another channel. It is crazy. But you said Monday, Wednesday, Thursday?
Yeah, no, Monday, Wednesday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Yeah,
okay.
Rock out. But I definitely want you to be a part of it, man, because me and you, we definitely like to chop it up, man. And I want to come up with some show topics, man. And I hit you on the email a little bit earlier, and we could chat behind the scenes, man, and try to make this thing rock out, bro. But I really appreciate you coming up today, man. I really do.
Okay, best of luck with your platform. Yeah, hit me up an email.
No doubt, bro. Enjoy your day, Renaissance. Yo, man, I'd like to thank everybody for coming through the GMT, the wonderful, great Life of Grandmaster Troll. Keep doing what you're doing, man. I see you put that suit on. I see you fixing your channel up. I see you getting bigger and better. Keep doing what you do, young man. I like your courage. I like your boldness. Even though we don't agree politically, I like that you stand for what you stand for and you keep going. And you got hobbies and things like that in your life that make you a well-rounded person. Definitely to my man Core M, my day one, my real YouTube day one. I definitely appreciate you coming through, bro. So y'all make sure y'all tell everybody over at Red's the Bad Guy or wherever else I'll be at. Tell them that the AC Star Morning Show has launched. And I appreciate y'all coming through, man. So, yo, I see y'all on Friday morning. We're going to chop this up again. One love and peace. Hey, yo, Tim Harvey, peace to you too, my brother. Thank you for coming through, my brother. I'll make sure when you guys come through on the next show, man, we're going to start passing out them wrenches, man, so I get my snipers together. So, Tim Harvey, get your scope together, baby. Get your 30-30 Mossberg so you can start taking off heads. Off with their heads. So, yo, man, this is AC Star. I want to thank everybody for coming through. Peace.